It's, I suppose, a mixed emotions of, I suppose, relief, so much excitement in how the team played, and to win a final, in 10 years for the club, and for our supporters to be here and 90,000. But that's only part of the journey. But that was one part that we sort of had to get right, and we've been sort of knocking on the door. But it's just mixed emotions, relief, and very excited about what I seen today. And it was a great way to respond. And some players had been down; their form was very good.
What was your feeling when you had 5 behinds on the board?
Kick straight. I suppose they're the ones that you think. We've had our. Football's about momentum, and if you have your sort of block of momentum, do you make the most of it? And I was just hoping that we started kicking straighter, and then the Bombers went down and kicked a couple, and then you think, we probably had about the same possessions and inside 50s, but we haven't made the most of it. So knowing that the game takes a bit of time to settle down and things like that, I thought we'd steady, and away we went, and we did, which was great.
12 months ago, Brett, could you believe that you'd set up with Brett Thornton as one of your main forwards and that he'd take, I think, 10 or 11 marks in a final? No disrespect to him, but he's done pretty well, hasn't he?
He has. He's. I think with that time of the trade talk and things like that, we had a real good heart-to-heart and spoke about things that he needed to improve in his game defensively when he was down there, and also maybe playing a bit up forward. And he's been very important for us this year to play both ends of the ground and fill some holes. But today I thought was one of his best performances for the club for a long time. And the way he did it, he did it in a final. Took 5 or 6 contested marks in an area of the ground that has probably fluctuated a bit for us in that area. So I thought he did a magnificent job today. It was just brilliant.
Said all week that this was about the club, not about yourself.
Yep.
But I'm just wondering how much personal satisfaction is there for you today?
I think there's more personal satisfaction from the point of it's the club, that I've been at since I'm 14, and not knowing that, knowing that we've had not much success in the last 10 years, and now to win a final. And we start our climb, and sometimes you have to taste disappointment to realise, I suppose, how far and how deep you have to push to get success. And our club's been through that. 93 we lost a grand final, 94 out in straight sets, and then 95 we had some real joy. But sometimes you've got to taste defeat to really know how much it hurts, and I think the last couple of years have really helped our playing group.
Right. What?
Yeah, but personally, I know what you meant. I get enjoyment for the players, and being the head coach, I suppose, that's your role, and the club. But it's more about the players, I think. Yeah.
Right. At what stage today did you start thinking about next week and perhaps making plans and protecting players today and easing up in any way, perhaps?
Probably about 20 minutes into the third quarter, we started to sit down and think. We thought Essendon might come out and really try and play some really bold football after half time, knowing what they did to Port Adelaide towards the end of the game and kicked 5 goals in 10 minutes or something to that extreme. So we thought we had to really just lock them down, make sure they couldn't score. And then when we got to the 20-minute mark, we sort of started to think, who should we take off? How can we rest players, push them into the forward line? They were the things that we started going through our heads. Yeah.
Just on how big this was for the club, just wondering, as you say, you've been at this club since you were 14.
Yeah.
Where does this rank in your highlights of your time at Carlton?
It's my best highlight as a coach. That's just to win a final. But I think it's up there. I think some of the other games, being involved at the club, and we have won a final, which is it's a great tribute to the group. But we've got a lot of work to do, and we thought if we could get over the first final, it would relieve a bit of pressure from the group, and this I certainly think will. And now the boys can play with some real freedom, and that'll allow them to just play more on instinct and go for it.
a little further to your previous answer. Was Bryce going a bit too hard late in the game? What's his situation?
Well, he's got a knock to the shoulder, and we'll get that assessed tonight or tomorrow morning. So I think we'll find out then what's going on with his shoulder. Really, about the first question, was he going too hard? Well, I think that's something that we've seen from the group really improve this year, about how hard they've attacked the ball, and if they haven't got the ball, they've attacked the man. So I don't want them to pull up whether it's the last 5 minutes or the first 5 minutes. So I think, from a team point of view, we expect that, we demand that, and it was great to see him do that. Hopefully he gets up. Yep.
Brett, given the cloud over Michael Jamieson pre-game, firstly, how much of a luxury was it to be able to rest him during the last quarter?
Yeah, it was a bit of a luxury. It's amazing, though, the people telling you, Jamo's not playing, and you just think, I don't know where they get their information. I don't know who they talk to, but he was never out of the team. So that sort of gobsmacked me about the build-up and, people talking about it because, he doesn't train on the last session, either does Cruz. So, and we did it with Hendo a bit as well. So I think more the season's gone, the bit of doing about 14, 15 minutes on the last day, they can do a bit of touch and kicking, sort of equals about the same for them. So, I was really laughing about that one. But and to give him the rest, it was just great, I think, just with his preparation, not to tax him too much, and 6-day turnaround to keep him nice and fresh. Yep.
So, secondly, looking towards next week, he's fully fit and
he's
no
fine.
drums.
Yeah, no, he's laughing. Yeah.
Brett, you said the pressure was big because you hadn't won a final for the last couple of years. What did you do to make sure that pressure didn't become overwhelming to the group?
We didn't shy from it. To think that we didn't talk about it. We spoke about what they had to play for and what we had to play for, and how desperate we had to be to try and win the game. So, we spoke about it. We didn't overplay it. We didn't say this is make or break if we lose this final or anything like that. But we just said just remember how much it did hurt and those feelings. And when you think you're tired or you need to, should I go or shouldn't I go? Just have a think about that day last year when we were in Sydney and we're hopping on the bus, or you're at the end of the game and the siren went. You have a think about that. And I think that was a fair bit of motivation for the group.
Brett, you've talked about how keen you are week after week to try to get Jared Waite back in the side, but with the form that your small forwards are showing and going to the big open spaces of Subi where league speed is a factor, you must be excited that those small forwards are going to have an impact next week.
Yeah, it was good to see Jeff play so well and get his reward. We put it on Jeff. And he responded excellently. The bit about Jared is he was supposed to play in the VFL today. We thought he was all ready to play, and he pulled out late. He pulled up sore this morning. So we go back to the drawing board, and we'll have to probably assess that more tomorrow in regards to where he's at going forward. So what the great thing was, though, the Bull Ants won again. So that gives us another week to keep pushing on. So hopefully we can get him up for the VFL next week. They won again. Hampson kicked 6, which was great for us. So he'll really come into the mix as another big forward. So that might give us a few options at both ends of the ground.
Are you sort of glad in a way that you've won that first final without Judd having a huge amount of impact on the game? You busted open the game in the first half, and he was the lowest ranked player on the ground. Okay,
it doesn't matter how we win the game if Juddy's the best player or the least influence on the ground. It doesn't really, not really fussed. He had a role to play, and I thought he did that very well today. When you reflect, and Parko even sent me a message. It takes 22 to win finals, and we speak about that a fair bit. But I thought today we had 22 contributors across the board, and we didn't really have to carry anyone. So that's what makes a team. It's not about is Chris Judd best or Mark Murphy or Jamieson or these fellas. It's the 22, and you can't depend on one. And today I thought we depended on no one. We played together, which was brilliant. Yep.